Latino, a fully Mexican classroom, that Spanish was spoken more than English at some particular time periods, and that would make you feel uncomfortable. I'm going like,
and it's not the case.
And I said no, and I said it's their language. You know, what is it for me to say about speaking your own language?
Right, but that's not the case for my program.
Okay.
You know, we're open to all students. There are, of course, the majority are Latino students. But they're not just Mexican. Some of them are Salvadorian. Some of them are Guatemalans, Nicaraguan.
No, I didn't want to offend by just saying the word Mexican.
Oh, no, that's
no. I know, and some Mexicans get very upset when you call them.
And vice versa.
We know when because we were talking about the Chicanos.
Right,
Chicanos, and they're like, I'm not a Mexican, I'm a Chicano. I'm like, okay, I'm very sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
No.
I try not to. It's not. I'm just trying. And I'm not trying to use the master's words to pull out, what a person should be called or anything else like that. Because me personally, I do not accept the word African American. I will be black, and I always will be black until I die. I'll never be an African American, because the fact that I served in the military, they didn't call me an African American when they shot at me. They called me an American when they shot at me. They didn't really care what color I was. The fact that I wore a uniform that identified me as American is why they shot at me. They didn't say you. They didn't say you African American. Right. They didn't say that particular point. But
that's
again,
a good point.
But my point is that if you how will you be, again, being current events. So any current event that pops up that has to deal with, like, the stuff that's happening in Arizona right now, and the last challenge right now with this judge and Mr. Lopez right now, and everything else, you wouldn't bring up something like that to your class. You would just
it's any current event that a current issue that affects their community specifically.
Okay.
And so we talked about the banning of ethnic studies and what's happening in Arizona, immigration issues. We've had some discussions about health, obesity in the Latino community, diabetes.
Correct.
So I try to always make sure that whatever I'm bringing in is directly related to the culture.
Okay.
And the experience of living in that culture.
Okay. And your other students that are not happen to be of Latino background, they're accepting of this?
Most of the time.
They try to come to talk to you later. I'm sorry, I'm going to need to drop this class because I'm feeling uncomfortable.
I've had maybe one student definitely drop the class that I know for sure, because it just didn't work out. Again, the different philosophies.
Right.
If other students have dropped the class, I wouldn't say it's because of the content. I would just say because
life experience.
Yeah, life experience.
Right.
I've also just seen some students who, college just isn't. They're just not ready to take college seriously. And again, because I hold strong the idea that this is a transfer-bound program.
Right.
I am getting them ready for academic writing.
Okay.
And academic university-level challenges and experiences.
So this program is still English 98. It's not 101 yet.
It's both.
It's 98 and 101.
98
and 101. Okay.
In the fall they take English 98. In the spring they take English 101.
Okay.
And again, it's all about getting them ready for the types of writing they're going to be asked to do at the university. And also here, but more so it's about when you transfer,
that you're ready.
That you're ready. That you have you can write any assignment that you're asked to write.
Okay.
Because you are a confident writer.
Well, Dr. Reese let us come back and cry and make sure that she let us check our term papers and before we turned them in, as we went to the bigger colleges and went to different schools with different teachers. I
always welcome.
Okay.
And even if there's still students here, but they're no longer in my class. You know, the saying is, once a puentista, always a puentista. So they come back to me, they share their assignments, they say, look what I got on my paper. And I hear it even, you know, with my students that are, again, they're still Puente students, but they're just no longer in the English sequence. I hear it all the time. If it wasn't for Puente, I wouldn't be able to write the way I write, or I wouldn't be as successful in my classes that require writing. And so that's my biggest goal is, how are you doing in your other classes?
Well,
in terms of like writing, how's the writing?
Yeah, I have to say that she turned me from a straight math into the fact that she turned my English into actually something grammatical that somebody can read and everything else. And so it was so it almost made me change. It made me change my major from math to sociology. And the fact that I was able to write papers and actually get my ideas across and everything else like that, that it did help tremendously. And for me, I did not finish because it became too stressful, because I'm a veteran of the Persian Gulf War, and it became too stressful for me to even come to class. But occasionally she does call me back as a dinosaur to help teach or give one of my presentations in the class. And this is where I really feel good that I can give back for what she gave me during those classes and everything else. And I'm glad to see that you're keeping on the tradition of being able to come back if you have questions or you have writing in MLA. I don't even know if it exists anymore. Yes. Oh, okay. Put the period after the parentheses. Yes. The name, the name, date, page. No, name, date, year, now page. Okay, now is that you know, and MLA and all the different formats and everything else like that. Well, I tell you what. Did you have any type of mentor when you were to make sure to say, hey, you know, education is the place I ought to be, or anything else like that? Would you say in your life that said, hey, this is what I should be doing, or stay in school or something like that?
I had many mentors, and I think that none of them were, it wasn't like formal mentorship, you know, how some programs have like, this is your mentor.
Right. Well, like I said, most of the schools have got rid of that because of the fact that they have cost, I think it's had to be such a high cost and everything else. They've gotten rid of most programs that try to help students and everything else.
No, I would say in every stage of my education, I've had mentors, and those were the people who saw something in me that maybe I didn't see myself, and kept encouraging, kept me intellectually stimulated in a way that made learning exciting, and made learning exciting, and it really changed the way I see what it means to be a student. Really changed the way I see, or I saw or see now, just that it's about being a lifelong learner, and constantly reflecting, constantly thinking about who you are as an individual, what your responsibility is to yourself, to your family, to your community, to your society. So I definitely have had many people in my life play that role, and still to this day, people that I come across in some form or another continue to mentor.
Well, that is very great to hear. And with that, I'll be closing. Is there anything else that you'd like to say that you think is very important? Because what it's going to do with this, I'm going to go back home, tune it up a little bit. Hopefully this came out correctly. And then I'll be uploading it onto my site, and then I'll be uploading it on, hopefully it'll get picked up by the corporation itself. Is there anything that you particularly want to say? Because, I mean, you could use this as a broadcast to students out there when you get a chance to look at this and say, how can I sign up for a class?
Yeah.
So,
well, this is a tough time to be a student.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, and I will say that because of the California budget cuts.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that there are hurdles along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I really believe that that's all they are.
Okay.
They're just hurdles that we just have to jump over and just be persistent, continue to be motivated, continue to have a right attitude about why you're here, or why you want to get an education, because really our communities need you. And if you are not sure about where your future lies, where you're going next, come by the college. It's a good option. San Jacinto College.
Okay.
It's here to serve the community.
Okay. And with that, I'd like to say thank you, Doctor,
Thank
for your time and effort, and hopefully that you will give me permission to come back into your classroom to talk to some of your students and yourself during the class and everything else. So this is part one of hopefully many stories that I will be talking about with Dr. Ramirez. Thank you again for your time, and really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.